Welcome to episode 7 of Obscure Chatter. That very creepy, yes. It's just me that I'm alone in this room. That's terrifying. Hi, I'm Terri Doty. With me today is my special guest, my fellow vibrant hair color haver. So that means that you're just...
It's
amazing pixie, adorable...
Oh, shucks.
It's my Lily. It's Natalie Hoover.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Any time for you.
I have to warn you guys, and I'm sure Stephen will really love this. We have cake filter.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to hear a lot of sexy stuff. Like in the last episode, you definitely heard me eating almonds very, very crappily. So
I didn't know that was a thing.
I find a way. That, what is it? That Jeff Goldblum, the life finds a way.
I'll find the way.
So this, it's the top 5 thing. If this is your first episode, with anybody, it's I ask people, give me top 5 films that would help give insight to who you are as a person, and just your likes and dislikes. And for some people, it's like, well, film doesn't dictate who I am. I'm like, yeah, but we've all got those shows and television and movies that it's like hey, it's really gonna hurt my soul if you hate this thing because I love it. And you gave me initially 8.
Yes, I did.
Which I'm like, actually, like when I was like searching for movies, because the wonderful contributors of Ko-Fi help us rent streaming movies,
nice.
as well as get every guest a mug. And really want to thank you guys. I say Ko-Fi. I don't know if it's coffee, but I say Ko-Fi.
It's cute.
So they've really been helping, but so I kept those additional 3 in mind just in case we couldn't find anything else. But this one I chose because it was just a different choice. For you, when I want to blame Clifford Chapin casting us in Recovery of MMO Junkie.
It's all his fault.
Because we'd known each other, we'd known of each other, but we hadn't really hung out or whatever, but you just started making me laugh so hard in that damn show, which Recovery of an MMO Junkie is just one of those shows that will never happen again.
No, it's a pure gem that should be cherished for time to come.
Damn it. But, and so she plays kind of my love interest in it.
Yes.
I say she. I should be talking to you. Yeah, she is you.
My hair is pink in a sense.
There you go. But I went totally off and went Conbay with my green. But God, we just started kind of making an excuse to finally hang out. I think around the time of the DVD release.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I want to be courageous and actually try to talk to someone who I've always thought was cool. And now I took the plunge and I go, I regret nothing. The only shame is our work lives and like life lives were busy. And I don't want to be a biscuit. I want to be like a really good treat and a really good friend. I don't want to be flaky.
Oh, I like that. There are little Natalie-isms that I've picked up along the way.
Yes.
You're like, no, everybody says that. I'm like, well, Natalie. I heard Natalie say it. It's like doing your stupid, like, little jokes. And you're like, hey, who told you that? That's my joke. I'm like, well,
you got to blame this person.
So-and-so. Comedy is catchy.
Comedy's catchy and comedy's for everyone.
But we were antiquing once.
Yes.
And I remember distinctly, it was that one shop where there were just birds flying around.
Yeah.
And we're talking about it, and you're like a big Wes Anderson fan. I'm like, what? I don't know what it is, but Wes Anderson... I think a lot of people aren't really quick to reference him. I think he can come off as just a pretentious director, which I'm like, no, he can. And I think he's aware of that. But some of my favorite movies, there's one in my top 5 that, just so you know, if you're wondering why he hasn't been beeped, it's because we're not watching a Wes Anderson movie. Like, it's just one of those things. But, and of course, I know about you that you're a big fan of just delectable food, which I don't have a lot of foodie friends, so I'm like, thank God. And also just Japanese culture, Japanese cinema, anime as well, which it's a good thing you're in anime.
Yes.
But so like I was expecting, I guess, a lot more that, and that's on me.
Like niche. But it's okay.
Well, it's like when people are like, I'm surprised you like anything other than horror.
Yeah.
So this one stood out just because it didn't, like, one of these things does not match
the other.
it's not like the other. But, and it's just an underrated film. So
It really
ready
is.
for this? It is.
And I think it's like best role.
It's
best role.
You want to know who we're talking? No, obviously that. But it's one of those things where it's kind of that thing. I've talked about it briefly, and I'm sure you can relate to it too. Where sometimes you can get cast in like a, hey, I cast you because I feel like this is you.
Yes.
And sometimes you don't know what that really means until you're
there.
And sometimes it's that's not me at all. What about me
Screamed this.
says this to you?
Nani the F. Like, what were you thinking?
I'll say it, Nani the fuck, which is something I say because it's Natalie now. And, yeah, or it's like we're MMO Junkie. That's what Clifford told me. He's like, this is you. I'm like, oh, God, it is. But most people, and I guess I didn't realize that Clifford got that from me in a very positive way, where he, like most people see if you're going to cast me as an anime character, the Kirara Hazama, which is also me, a different skin of me. We all wear different hats with different people. But, yeah, it's just nervous and just, someone was like, she sounds so weird. I'm like, that's just an introverted person, which I think I'm that extroverted introvert.
Yes.
Which I think a lot of people, like, when you go to cons, like, you're supposed to come out like the confetti guns go off, but it's like a hi.
Hello. I'm here. Thank you for, hi.
And yeah, then Clifford was like, leave Natalie a bomb. I'm like, oh, I don't know if we're there. I'm so weird. I'm so bad at bombs.
No, I feel it in the moment, because sometimes those are so precious that they'll live on for years. Like, we have bombs from Prince of Stride, like, you're my world bra, and I'll never let that leave Rico.
Or I did that with Rin, Daughters of Namasane. I had never met Rob McCullum outside of Funimation, and during my internship at Funimation, I hadn't seen him. I walked into a booth and I sat in with director at the time, Chris Kaysen, if that tells you how long ago this was, for Kaze no Stigma.
Oh, yeah.
And the leads are Jeremy Lee, Rob McCullum, and Josh Greeley, I believe.
Oh, that's a great shot. That's a great experience.
It was long ago. Like, Greeley was still, like, driving to Funny from Houston, like, every other week. It was a while ago. And the actor was already in the booth, and I just hear this, like, gravelly, like, what I probably very grossly refer to as a daddy voice. You know, like, yes, daddy. Yes, daddy. Hi. Which is, like, disgusting, but I read a lot of romance novels. It's just something that we do. Like, someone was like, best voiceover that you still have a crush on. I'm like, Keith David. And someone went, yes, daddy. Like, oh, snap, snap. Like, yeah, but Rob's got one of those voices, and I think he's caught on a lot since then.
Yes, very much.
That I love his voice, but I still didn't really get to know him. So we're doing Rin, Daughters of Namasane, and my character is, like, flying a helicopter, and his character goes, like, hey, land over there, and it's 3 flaps, like, you're the boss. And Tatum went, oh, say this, and I went, fuck you, Rob. And so I'm at a bar a month or so later, and he went, fuck you. He found me out of nowhere, and I forgot about that. I was terrified.
Probably shook you.
Yeah, it did. And he's like, no, like, I got your bomb. I thought it was cute. Nobody bombs me, so I'm like, I love you.
That's also in the sense of when Prince of Stride, Caitlin Glass was like, who do you want to play your father? Like, less than a millisecond, I'm like, Rob McCullum. And she goes, wow, that was really quick. And I
didn't think about that at all. So he does literally have a daddy voice as far as you're concerned.
So
he's played my dad. I've played the younger version of him, but it's just that, yes, daddy.
Yes, daddy. Like, speaking of yes, daddy, I love, like, this type of beard and, like, this all is jazz. It's great.
Like, speaking of this, I find it very...
I love beards.
I'm a crazy filter.
Oh, man.
So I'm trying to remember exactly. Like it was a lot like how it is with like Damon Mills and even Greeley to an extent when I first started, where you just kind of, to me, materialized one day and we're here.
I'm like a beautiful flower that sprouted.
You are. You're a lily.
I'm a lily.
Always be my lily. God, this is just me like gushing over Natalie. But through cake filter, which is really good. It's chocolate and walnut.
I did bring cake because I was like, I'm a huge foodie and it's a weekend. Gotta live it up.
That's the thing, though. Anytime we've hung out, it's like where are we going?
What are we eating?
That we can be. My best friend is like steak and potatoes, like blah, blah, blah. Just very simple. If she gets like a pepper steak, the pepper part of that is staying on the plate. Like,
no.
Yes. I'm like,
Hoover.
why get it? No. Yeah. But with me and you, we're just like, where can we go that we can have an experience? I think a lot of people view those people as assholes.
Well, then I like being an asshole.
I love it.
I'm sorry if it's an asshole move if I know where good places to eat and if I don't want to eat Cracker Barrel.
Right?
Sorry.
But sometimes Cracker Barrel is fucking fantastic.
Sometimes there's some days where I'm like, I want some mac and cheese. And I'm like,
gotta eat and you gotta talk like that.
I'd like some mac and cheese, please.
That Simpson voice when Bart's like envisioning himself being really fat.
It's me.
I wash myself with a rag on a stick.
That's my future.
Mac and cheese. But let's see. You moved here from LA, right?
I moved.
I thought I would wait till you're like.
I miss
red.
the food there, but the food here is really nice.
You just gotta seek it out.
I do, yeah. You gotta find those hidden gems. I moved 2015. So it's a sham that I'm only meeting you, like, for reals.
I know.
It just takes me courage to get to know people.
It's also, I think people think I'm a lot more social than I am. I'm like, oh, I've interacted. Now I will go home.
I go home now and I'm like, hey, my fat cat son. How are you?
Your fat son, I think, is that what you call him?
Yeah. My mom goes, honey, you should really choose your words differently. What if you say that around someone and then someone thinks you're talking about your real child? That's just rude. And I'm like, oh, you're not wrong. That's why I say my fat cat son.
Fat cat son.
My fat cat son. But no, I moved here in 2015. And it's been great ever since. I met great people. Los Angeles was great too. Mm-hmm. But it's expensive. It's also really tough in a sense. And I didn't have a battle plan. So.
What do you mean?
Like, you know how most people go and like, I'm going to do this and this and this and this. I was like, I'm just going to go
and I'm like,
pursue voice acting.
That's my plan. You're like, I like to refer to it. I like having a rough outline. Mm-hmm. It's just like any kind of story that you're writing or drawing up, what have you. Or even like a sculptor. It's like, I know what I want this to look like, but there can just be something in the process that makes you change from, divert from course. Or you're writing that outline and you're like, man, I didn't see this happening, but I'm focusing more on this character now. Mm-hmm. Me, it's about, and I'm not just saying this because, again, it's sometimes hard. In my phone, I had to finally put your real name in because it was Lily. And then Greeley was like, I'm not Lily in your phone? I'm like, no! Because you're not Lily! But, I mean, you are, but you aren't.
You're so You're so just put the sakura flower next to him.
There you go. Sakura flower. Or cherry blossom, what have you.
Sorry.
It depends on the flap work. But it's jumping from lily pad to lily pad for me, where it's just, that is where I should go. And that looks pretty sturdy. But what's over there? And there's kind of one that's a lily pad over there that's a little, might be out of my reach, but I think maybe I want to try to figure that out.
Yeah.
So I get that.
I've been branching out my lily pads. I really want, now with me aging, I'm getting older, I really want to experience more, because in my 20s, I think I was just too shy, and just didn't know how to really approach people and subjects. But now I'm like, I love myself, and I love how I am around people, and I'm not going to hide that. So I'm sorry.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sorry, but yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
But it's that thing, too, where I was pretty sure of myself at a very early age. But Anthony Bowling and I were talking about that yesterday, where
sweet.
there's someone that we both know, and I'm like, what is it about it? Because I feel like this person should check off all the marks of a friend. And he's like, that's being 25. Yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
we weren't that bad. He's like, oh, I'm sure we were. Oh my God.
Yes.
Hindsight 2020. But you just don't know. Some of these things you have to know. Like the way that I am now is probably very heavily, like, still very much me at 25. But yeah, you do lose that. They're like, wait.
Yeah.
I don't know when my number's up. Let's just fucking live live your truth, as long as you know your truth isn't a serial killer.
Yes, please don't do that. And if you do, please stop.
Please
stop.
Obscure Chatter would like to take some time to tell you, if you are a serial killer, please stop.
Please stop and call for help. Please.
It's a trick.
We've seen a lot of Netflix shows recently revolving around that, and I'm like, oh, these people desperately need help. Oh boy. Like, have you seen the You? It's a...
I'm a big fan. It's not a...
Oh, is it?
No,
okay,
no,
good.
no, it's not a... I do love the way she's like... Penn Badgley plays Joe.
Yes!
And I am obsessed with the books.
Oh.
Hidden Bodies is so.
I need to read them, because I found out it was a book recently.
It's very much the series, the Netflix series. Well, it was Lifetime, and then it went to Netflix, which I'm like, thank God, because I don't have Lifetime.
Yeah, Netflix saves.
I just pre-ordered Disney Plus. Stop making me buy things.
Stop it!
I'm like, no one's making you. They're like, but they are.
But they are, because now I can get rid of all my DVDs. Now it can all be on my phone.
I mean, I still have DVDs. Like anything Kiana based is not going anywhere.
That's on
physically
hard copy.
Stare at it.
Yes.
But yeah, Penn Badgley plays Joe, and Joe is not a good person. But I do love that someone, like a bunch of people, are like, oh my God, I love Joe, and if they message him, he's like, no, don't
love him.
He's like, Joe's horrible,
bad.
I love that he shuts that shit down. But that's also something about, like, whenever you get older, if you try to rewatch things, I'm like, oh, why did I try to rewatch this? This is something that didn't age well.
Yes! It's so hard when that moment happens and you're like, oh.
Or I was watching something and I'm like, I usually watch this through the point of the kids. Now age, I'm like, I'm watching this through the point of view of the parents.
Yeah.
Oh! Time's fun.
But you know what's crazy is, recently I was a real spooked kid. A lot of things scared me, like, Jurassic Park and...
Really?
Yes, I'm terrified of dinosaurs still. I'm so glad they're extinct. Even though chickens are related.
I did have a chicken named T-Rex.
And, long story short, I was terrified, and I didn't watch it until this year, and I'm ashamed to say this, of The Dark Crystal, because I wanted to watch the Netflix prequel that just came out. So I watched that, and then I watched the movie, and then I, mentally slapped myself going, oh, I'm such a fool! This is outstanding puppet work and outstanding everything. And,
the prequel kept actual puppeteering. Can you imagine if they tried to not?
I watched the behind the scenes, documentary, and they did a version where the Skeksis was a puppet and the Gelfling was computer animated. Ooh. And they put them together to see which one would look better. And the puppetry, oh man, I'm sorry, I love...
That's why we love it.
That's why yes, it's so... it's so beautiful. And,
I still haven't seen the prequel.
Oh, it's... Treat yourself. Like,
yeah?
Yes, and then text me and go... Oh! And I'm like, yes, I love it too. It's great. Even down to the costumes. Like, it's fantastic. I wanted to include that, but in the end I go, I already gave you a list of 8, and I want to make it 10.
Well, when you come back, we'll just add that to the list. But,
yes.
Then I still won't pick it because I'm not beeping that, goddammit. I mean, that's great. No, Natalie.
Never stop saying titles.
Well, that's with other things. I'm like, some I think are less enjoyable than others if you're not a fan of, the kitsch value of the, now, focus on the talking. They're like, oh, I'm trying to, but all the fucking beeps. But...
Little do you know we're cursing.
Yeah, I know, not beeping that. I'm like, oh, did she say a bad word there?
No.
Okay, it finishes beeping right when she's like, cunt!
I love you, Terri.
I'm glad someone loves me.
I do. My cheeks are all good. This is my yoga workout for my face.
No, I'm glad that, and I was about to tell you before the show, but I'm glad I didn't, there's a thing that I actually learned. I'd learned a lot from MMO Junkie, and actually there were moments where I learned, it was the, these inner city kids taught me more than I taught them kind of thing, where we're in booth and, you're previewing your scene and you should be reviewing your line. And it's, I'm saying, as I'm watching it, cringing, and Clifford's like, all right, let's go in for that. And I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I just said. But that's just me naturally reacting. Also, that made it very difficult. I'm not a good, person to bomb, because I'm very, as I've said before, I'm very Ron Burgundy. I'm like, if it's on the screen, I will do it. I did that yesterday in a session where, the director left a question mark, and I made it a question mark. It's those children love you. But I'm like, those children love you? They're like, all right. We figured that you would infer from context in the note that I gave you that that's not a question. I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't get that at all.
No, but there's a question mark.
There would just be times where things would be very, very awkward intentionally with that character, but then I'd find myself doing my nervous tics, and it's not like an acting thing anymore. I'm like, I'm nervous for her, so I'm nervous for me, and say you did this and I appreciate that, but I'm feeling this reaction more. And, but you just, I don't know, life's fun now.
It is. And it's hard too when you have to say goodbye to that character. You're not really saying goodbye, because constantly you'll come back up in your life. But because of that show, I'm like, I felt myself grow as an actor, in the sense of I want to be more like Lily and just, actually accomplish things and actually be friends with people that I've always wanted to be friends with. And anime does teach you life lessons.
It does. But there was one thing in the initial episode where Clifford, of course, from the broadcast dub perspective, you don't know unless there's readily available, hopefully legal manga.
Yes.
Which is sometimes hit or miss, unfortunately. But if you're a creator that's trying to honor the show, sometimes you have to be like, okay, what's not going to shut down my computer as I find something, or I need a translator with time to please explain this to me. But there is a point in my first episode where it's Christmas Eve, and I had no idea the concept in Japan of fried chicken.
Oh, yes!
But now I'm obsessed with that concept. So this episode is coming out in December, and so I thought about that for our...
Oh, I should have brought fried chicken.
Damn it! But I love it, and what is it? There's a significance to it. First of all, in Japan, Christmas Eve is kind of a couple's thing.
Yes, it's very much romantic.
Which I also didn't get, because Moriko's shopping and there are couples everywhere, and she's like, I have to get out of here.
I must retreat.
Or die. But then, yeah, it's that there's one, there's only one piece of chicken left in this convenience store, rotisserie case, and it's got a little ribbon and the foil. I'm like, that is a very fancy.
A fancy chickie.
And Clifford's like, yeah, apparently that's a thing.
They have Christmas chicken, and it's specially fried and in a cute little, little tin for you. KFC is extremely popular for Thanksgiving and Christmas, which is crazy. But I've never been there for a holiday. I arrived on Halloween, but I didn't do anything, because we landed on Halloween, and my mom and Grammy were like, let's go to bed. And I go,
I'm fine with this.
All right. But that was that. But I would definitely recommend eating some Japanese chicken, or even Korean is really good if you like spicy versions.
I do.
That's real good.
Nope, never had that. I'm very, very curious now.
Oh, I'll send you some great places. There's addiction about to happen, y'all.
Oh, no.
I do love me some fried foods.
This is gotta get... This actor, I've been obsessed with since he was just a working random actor that, whatever. He plays such a good jerk.
Yes, he really does. And then he also plays a really good nerd, because I love him in... I love him in that. But also he looks... he looks like someone I know, and that's not a bad thing.
I'm like, oh. I was telling someone, I'm like, yeah, I think, doing the kind of thing, like, who do you find attractive? I'm like, well, for women, it's kind of, like, I'm pansexual. Like, and someone was like, oh, I knew Moriko was pansexual. I'm like, no, I'm not, like, voicing her with, like, my sexuality in mind, but they took away from that because they're like, some people were bummed that Lily was a guy.
Yes, some of them, like, I have a lot of fans coming up to me like, I can't believe that you were a guy. Like, I love you. And I go, sorry. You can love Lily as the character, but, like...
can't. Like, because they're kind of separate. Like, It's not like you kept what Greeley does in his normal life. Or Aaron, someone was like, I can see what you're thinking of. He's like, no, it's just me.
It's just him.
Terri and I just have a lot in common. But... where there was a point where it's like, men-wise, I'm like, I don't know, I definitely have a type, and I mentioned, and they're like, oh, you think attractive? I'm like, I mean, don't a lot of people?
I do. I mean, I find him like...
Even with that horrible beard?
Yeah, even with that horrible, probably painted on beard. Like, it looks very abnormally thick.
Yeah.
Looks very touched up.
Probably, like, couldn't grow a beard in time.
Right, no. But, speaking of, like, beards and, like, facial structure, I'm obsessed with, like, is it called a snatched jaw? Is that what it's called?
And the little cleft.
Yes, like a John Travolta cleft. Like, ooh, 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 ooh.
I wonder what the actual term, I'm sure it is.
I don't know if that's it, so I hope I didn't say something inappropriate, but...
If not,
if I did, we'll see.
I'm like, what did she say?
Like, did she just say this word? I'm like, yes. I did. But no, I'm totally into that look. And I realized like whatever his hair is doing, I'm into that too. So it's great. It's a great life to live.
Live your life. And I see you are living it. Borge.
Oh, trying. I just can't believe in a sense it's, I was thinking of like, when was the last time I recorded this and this and this? And was MMO Junkie really 2 years ago, or was it a year ago?
It was 2. I remember I had this thing where we did the first. I was talking to somebody about it, and I felt like this asshole because anytime someone's like, "Oh well, I mean, it just sucks that I have to wait like 2 weeks for the dub or something," and then I pull I'm like, "You don't understand." Okay. I did the first broadcast dub. That was my first lead ever. It's Chitaro Kumo and Laughing Under the Clouds. And nobody told me, but apparently, like, Joel, the director, told the other 2 leads, Chris Waycamp and Dave Trosco, that, hey, this is a new thing that we're trying. And Joel, like, I recorded the first episode. And Joel's like, all right, cool. And I'm like, well, wait, so he's only in 1 episode? Oh, okay. He's like, well, no, it's weekly. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, because it's new. It was new at this point. This was 5 years ago.
Yeah, this is the very first
October
one.
2014. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, next week we're going to do episode 2. So I hope you're available for the next 11 weeks. And I actually said, I'm like, I'm going to New Orleans for like 2 weeks and like a month. And Joel's a friend. He meant this as a joke. But anytime I've told this story, if they don't know Joel's my friend or no, he went, well, I guess you got a decision then. Do you want to be a lead in a show or do you want to go to New Orleans?
That sounds like...
And I'm like,
oh,
fuck. So nothing was firmed, like fully firmed. It was like a couple of days away from being completely like, hey, non-refundable shit.
Yeah.
And that just didn't happen. So cut to... 3 years later, Clifford and I were complaining, or talking to each other on Twitter, which always seems like complaining because of the way I talk. And I messaged him via Twitter and said, okay, am I your mom? in My Hero Academia. I forget shows that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really do. And I love the bit work and the smaller roles that I get just as much as the bigger ones. And it
Yeah.
seems like such a cop-out answer, but I'm from theater days, you know, it's just like there
Everyone
are no
matters.
They all, I mean, my paycheck doesn't know that was a 3-hour walla. They know you got paid for 3 fucking hours.
Yeah.
Like he went, let me check on that because people have been asking me too. Because I'm like, I think I might have done something, but I don't remember.
That's
and
the hard part.
He's like, no, it's Rachel Glass. And I'm like, okay. And people still give me their stuff for Bakugo's mom. I'm like, this isn't me. And people don't want to hear that they're wrong.
Yes,
like,
but just sign it.
Like, no, this was you. That happened with Black Butler. I get a lot of that with Brina stuff. And someone was like, no, you're CL. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I would remember.
Oh my God.
If I were CL. Phantom Hive Mana.
I think I would know by the sport of tea.
Brina's English accent's very different than mine. And we do have a voice matched her several times. But anyways, getting back to it, we've just recorded the first episode. I'm finally in New Orleans. Finally. And I'm terrified that the whole time I'm there, it happens to be whenever I'm in New Orleans that they announce the cast. And I hadn't been booked for episode 2, and I had this like whole thing. I'm like, Clifford magically knows that I'm in New Orleans, and he's gonna be like, oh, fuck it, she's not available. Like, there's like some weird, like, tunnel thing where like Tara from Funimation's trying to book me right now, and I'm not answering, and I'm getting replaced in my first female lead ever. Oh my God.
Real.
But so yeah, like the next day I get hey, are you available for like 2 hours for episode 2? I'm like, oh.
God, but I don't think I could have lived through that because now I'm just used to like the occasional, are you available? Are you available? But I don't think
Did they tell you the rating?
You're so strong.
I'm so brave.
I don't think I could do it. I'd be like, I got recast. And I go into full panic mode and go, I'm going to go take a hot bath and cry a little. I mean, some whole cake in the bath.
I've been recast before.
Oh, I have too.
Oh, yeah. Where you're just like, whatever.
And you're like, oh. Or you can tell during the session it's not working.
It's not what you want, and
it's not what they want. But at that point, at that point, as a professional, I've never been advised to say, if it's not working, don't say it. Just make it try to work. And then at the end, if it doesn't work, they'll let you know. And I go, okay, I'll always try to make it work. You haven't told me to stop,
so I'm going to keep painting this house pink.
Yes, exactly. Even though if you asked for it to be orange. Maybe I'm colorblind. Sorry.
You're like, it looks good. Like, yeah, it looks great. So go ahead and hire another painter.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the business we're in. We're in the sense of we can get replaced within 5 seconons. And that's why you have to show...
It's usually by a friend.
Yes. And I don't have time for that attitude. Like, why? Like,
Or even if you're really, like, maybe not necessarily getting replaced, but, like you and I, and I think I've brought this up before, like, you and I could be up for the same role.
Yeah.
And if they cast you... what they were looking for was nothing that I was going to give them, and vice versa. But I'm not like, I really wanted that part. Fucking Natalie.
I auditioned for a game recently, and the only reason I got a call back, which was in their email, they said, you're the only audition that gave us a sweet, caring tone. And I went, huh? She looks like a caring person. All right. And they said, because of this, we'd love to have you have her call back. And I go, okay, that's cool. But I've learned that through my training. I'm like, I can diagnose something really quickly.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, then just learn. Practice makes perfect.
Diagnose, or there was, there was an audition that I had this week where, looking at all the sides, I'm trying to say this without violating my NDA, where it's like, okay, and you have to step outside of it, because one of the notes that I get sometimes is I don't give anime reads.
But you shouldn't, unless it's called for.
And I think that comes from, Stephen and I were talking about this, I think that comes from whether or not you grew up with anime, and you give what is understood to be an anime read. And being that I got into anime and loved it late, without, because it's that whole thing where I didn't learn that anime was a medium, not a genre, until way later in life. But it's kind of that same thing where my training and my acting comes from watching like strictly Western style stuff, and also Hispanic stuff. I didn't know The Shining wasn't in Spanish until I was like 13. My parents would make, especially my mother, would make me watch Spanish dubbed things, and
That's
I watched
cool.
dubbed because my brother and I were fluent until we moved away from relatives in Spanish, and that now it's just me relearning it through Duolingo, being like, "Help me!"
But luckily, it's all in there, just sponged in.
It is, and that's why where I'm like, "Hey, I don't know how to respond in Spanish, but I do not have a lesbian haircut." I mean, you might be right, but I do not view this. I view this as a pansexual cut.
And I think it's on point. Thank you very much. Mic drop.
I think I pull this green off, ma'am. It does not look like algae. I don't know how to respond to you, and you can't understand me. But, yeah, so, I don't know. It just kind of works where sometimes it's a, all right, so I'm hearing, like, the naturalness of it. Remember, this chick's a robot. Like, you know, or like a mech. Like, so, like, really play up this and remember this about this specific thing. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So I've got to get schooled a little more on certain things, especially if it's an anime very much drenched in Eastern culture.
Yes.
Which I think you can honor without being a stereotype. Some people might disagree, and those people are wrong. But where there was a side where the character was a child, and I'm like, oh, well, I actually only in the past couple of years have started getting little girls. Like little girl roles. Let me be specific. It's like, so I heard you do boys. I'm like, I do boy voices. Quit being gross. But like little kid things, and this character was going to be very character-y. But the notes kept saying, like, remember natural, remember this, remember that. So, most of the time I try to record myself, but with the new setup, I do like when I can audition and play off of my husband, who's a producer for it. I'm like, hey, I was really stuck on where to go with this character. And he was staring at the photo, and then I'm just kind of talking, and he went,
why not that
just
voice?
Do your normal voice. I'm like,
you don't have to put it on.
You don't know. I'm like, but she's a child or whatever. He's like, for this and this character, blah, blah, blah. And I was just expecting to hear this, like, weird, like, when I sent it in, if I heard anything be like, blah, blah, blah. And my agent was like, hey, cool. That was really good.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm like, I was expecting to hear, like, why do you just sound like yourself? Or
No.
you just don't know. You're in your head.
Yeah, you're in your head, and that's the worst thing you could be in. Is really, you don't be in your head, be in your gut. Listen to your instincts, and you're trained. So in the end, it's not the end game. You just need to experiment and play, and that's the most exciting thing about auditions is you get to show your best work, and hopefully you hook it. And if you do, that's great. But if not, it's great practice. And
Exactly.
like as one of my friends, Erica Lindbeck says, she goes, if you're not getting emails or auditions, then you're not working, because most of our job is auditions. And I went, well, okay, I agree with that. But if you live in a state where, like, I don't have an agent, I'm freelance, I'm trying to get one, but all the work I get is the work I find.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a bad thing. But
Most of the work I book isn't through my agent. Yeah.
And so it can be different in the sense of each person. But no, I totally think that's cool. And also, like, I took a auditioning class recently with Disney, and wow, I learned so much within that class, and I went, wow, this is crazy in the sense of I grew up watching anime, but it was in Japanese and sometimes English on Toonami. But I mostly read books as a kid. I was obsessed with reading, and then I found out what Disney was, and then I watched animation, and then lo and behold, I love animation and cartoons. But I started off in theater, and when I learn the anime read, now I'll catch myself and I go, oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
Like, I have to get it out of my head. And like, no, trust in your acting instincts. Like, don't go for this. Why? Because everyone's heard that before.
Everyone.
And no, I want to do something unique and go, whoa, that's so cool. I wouldn't
That's
expect
not where
that.
that's not where I was expecting you to take it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best reaction,
Yeah.
honestly.
And it makes my
Even
heart
if it doesn't work for the
happy.
character.
No, but that's why I love Funimation is it sounds so natural and conversational, and I went, oh, that's so cool, and it's a cool thing to be a part of that in a sense too, because with certain shows like MMO Junkie, I can watch that in the background and I know exactly what's happening. Granted, I've seen it a lot of
Might have seen it a
times.
couple times.
But like I love shows that you can listen to and it sounds like you know, like a radio player or something in the background where you can tell what's still going on.
Yes, through just audible context. Mm-hmm. Do you think that the styles and reading choices differ from anime company to anime company?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay, because I've heard this a couple of times this week, and maybe it's a trick of the ear thing, but I haven't caught on to it yet. It's like is this a blah 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 dub? Like, I don't know. I just know I like it. They're like, oh, who directed this? And I'm like, what? Why? Like, why are you ruining this for me?
I'm just trying to enjoy the experience, man. No, hang out with me, and I love tonality and like musicality of senses of scenes, and so I love comparing the sense. I'm like, oh, this is different. And
I also think it varies if you speak another language.
yes,
Yeah.
and I do speak Japanese, and I do forget that, and I forget that people don't speak Japanese.
Like, oh my God. What was it? It seemed so simple to you. We were antiquing. I think it was the same day. And we walked into this a resale shop called Twice Blessed.
Oh, my heart.
Do you remember this?
Of course I do.
Where this woman's just like, I don't know, I'm trying to look up the price. And this woman's like, well, I really, really want to buy it if it's not too expensive. And I want you to cry as you tell this story.
Oh, God. I might. So I go up to this woman and I see she has this kimono. And it's not just any regular... God. It's not just any regular kimono.
Work through the trauma. Tell the story.
I noticed it's a wedding kimono. And those are really, really, really expensive. Those range anywhere from, $2,500 to $10,000. And so I look at it
because of the work.
Because of the work, because all this oh my gosh, embroidery. And so I look at this, and it's more expensive with all the patterns, depending on it. This
had a decent amount.
A lot. It had 4 cranes. It had Mount Fuji and cherry blossoms, and I go, oh, fuck, this is a A-point kimono, and I go, this is really expensive. So I say this to be honest, but also like I'm gonna buy it. So I'm giving it the right price. Yeah. Like, it's actually going to be like $6,500, like $6,500, maybe like $8,000 tops.
You're at a resale shop.
I'm at a resale shop.
Bedford, Texas.
So stupid.
How much did she get it for?
I heard her she bought it for $20. And do you know how tempted I was to go out in the parking lot and just give her $100 bill and go, just take it. I want this for my wall. Because I collect kimono. And I just know that poor, beautiful piece of work is just going to be shoved in a box.
Oh, you mentioned that. Oh, my God.
And put in a garage. And I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. Oh. But speaking of kimono, I did finally hang up my kimono like I told myself I would last night. And I took pictures I could show you. No, that's...
Well, no, I made it worse because I think you said it's like, I know it's in a box somewhere. I'm like, box, I think, is one of the better scenarios.
Yeah.
I think, like, I just imagine it, like, crumpled in a corner.
Oh, God. Or, like, a cat has got to it, or a dog used it for a bed. That's just my haunted spirit coming back from the dead.
Your voice gets, like, demonically low.
Oh, fuck it up.
Okay. She's got her gremlin voice.
And my spirit's coming out of my body. I'm so
Just shove that back in.
I still remember this, and I just go, it's one point in my life where I go, Natalie, you just should have shut up and just go, oh, how ugly. I should have just done any excuse.
You're going to buy that? And then just kind of like wink at like the...
I should have pulled to Regina George. Oh, I love your bracelet.
Where did you get it?
It's the fuggliest, ugly bracelet I've ever seen. I should have done that.
You should have reversed Gina.
Gina.
Reverse Gina George.
Oh, man. We do need to go antiquing again because that was fun. And also I need to relive that memory of...
It's so funny, though. Like, yeah, that's another thing. It's like, oh, maybe thrifting is like something that I did in my 20s. I'm like, I can't justify. I'm a thickums girl. Like, all right, so I'm about to pay $60 plus for a pair of pants. Mm-hmm. I know this.
Oh, yes.
Like, even at my skinniest, which was a size 8, which was unhealthy.
Yeah, that's...
Like, I was, that was just working at Guitar Center and only making $900 a month.
But you barely ate,
but, like, barely. And also, yeah, just a lot of, like, oh, cool, you know, like, retail. I'm going to carry this amp upstairs and downstairs, and that's my workout. And then I also smoked at the time, too. Mm-hmm. So it's just perfect. But even at that, like, it was like, where the fuck can I buy pants?
Yeah.
So cut to, like, aside from pants, I buy everything I can, usually thrifting, unless it's a heavy pop culture thing. Like, I'm wearing, like, a Deathly Hallows shirt and a Junji, or a Deathly Hallows hoodie and a Junji Ito shirt. But everything else, yeah, like, thrift. So sometimes I'm like, maybe, but I just can't justify spending, like, I took Stephen to one of these, to Saks, and he's like, no.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, but, you know, you love Tan friends or whatever. He's like, Tan doesn't live here. Like, it's just, no. Let's go, somewhere and just get a t-shirt out of a cannon.
Yes. I mean, honestly, if you treat yourself to what you enjoy, like, I grew up with secondhand resale shops. Like,
same. That was back to school.
Red and Blue Ribbon and Buffalo Exchange, like all that stuff.
Color tags, you leave that hanger on the rack.
Oh yeah, and I find that most of my clothes that are thrifted, I get the best compliments, and I go, funny you say that because there's nothing like it. This is the only one so far,
right?
And it's mine, so
it's mine. Or yeah, like, oh, I just spent like $200 on this jacket, but this like shitty one that's got like Maria on the back, it's like $13, and I found it like at Texas Thrift, which clearly used to be like a KB Toys or a Kmart. Like that's what, you know, that you had the special dry clean because this one handler once, anytime I go to a convention, I try to schedule out time. I'm like, I need you to take me to a thrift store.
Yes,
and
me
an
too.
antique shop. Have to.
We should go to a con together and specifically have our handler one person and make us
I love it. I do it everywhere I go.
Do you hear this?
Please. I try to do that. Like, it was so funny, like being in frickin' like Alberta, being like, wow, I'm not used to thrift shops having a whole like ice skates thing. Like, that's crazy. Or and sometimes, like, yeah, I'm a big thing with energy, so I'm like, there are certain things that shouldn't be sold.
Yeah, like I need to burn sage all over that. Like,
or like Steven's very sensitive about that. He's like, get that out of the house. Get it out of the house.
That's smart. And like, have you ever been to the thrift shop? A thrift shop right next to Emporium Pies and Bishop Arts. That place is. Ooh, have Steven and you go there as a date. It's spoopy. My friend was going to buy, which I told her, please don't. If you buy this, I feel like you will die of a horrible death. She was going to buy these funeral pins.
What?
And I go, no, because she loves like that like dark, morbid side.
So do I.
And I go, cool, but like, do you know how much sage you're going to have to burn? You're going to have to burn directly on it. Because like, that was a funeral pin. Like, that has some really sad, negative, really dark energy. And she goes, well, I think it's really cool. Spoiler alert, this is my favorite part. But long story short, she didn't buy them in the end. And I went, oh, thank God. But whenever I go in that shop, I'm like, ooh, like, it's cool, but...
There are... I just don't get it. Like, I'm very there's the believer and the skeptic. I've always been skeptical. That's why, like, I think some people, I grew up Catholic, and I like to make the joke, like, I was Catholic, but then I got better. Now I'm an agnostic. They're like, I really didn't figure you for an agnostic. I assumed that you were an atheist. I'm like, well, no, I just think it's natural to be skeptical for me with my experience with the church, which is not a good one. But then I find friends of the faith. I'm like, oh, I love how that makes you feel.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of what your faith allows you to feel. And they're like, you can feel that too. I'm like, no. I can't.
I think I'm far
But
past that.
when it comes to the supernatural, like when we did that anime show, there were we did 3 Halloween episodes. Some have aged better than others because of guests that are horrible people.
No.
But it's like, should we take this down? And Steven's like, it's a time capsule. Everything ages poorly when you think about it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah. I'm like, and also I don't want to re-edit it. And he's like, and that's the main reason, really.
That's
like,
a lot of
all
work.
right. So, hey, like, oh, hey, who's this guest? La, 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 la. Just fast forward through that one. But like when they would do scary stories, we were trying to do like personal scary stories. And, like Tatum's got like this and Steven's got like this and other guests have got that. And my scary story was just like a trauma that I went through with a stalker. And they're like, that was actually a really scary story. And I'm like, trauma. That's fun. But when it comes to the supernatural stuff, I don't know that it's a thing until it's too late where you're like, oh man, I was at this. I love estate sales too. Because I'm old. I've been old my entire life. But
I love a good deal.
Oh, I love it.
Bargains are my favorite.
Can you believe I got this for 25 cents? They're like, you paid a whole...
Don't you know?
Yeah, paid a whole 25 cents for that. And like, yeah. Like, you overpaid.
I'm proud of this monkey.
It's mango. I love it. It's the fruits basket.
It's a fruits basket.
I did that actually at a half price sale. I'm like, I got this fruits basket, man. This is a really weird cover. They're like, it's all in German. I'm like, I love it more now.
It's mine.
Oh. But we're like, there's an estate sale. Stephen and I were there, and we both started getting really weird. And as we were like leaving the house, we both blacked out for a second. And Stephen's like, I don't know what the hell was in there. We're like, run. Like we had to get, like, someone died in this house and does not like all these strangers in their house. But you just don't get it. Or like I bought a chessboard and then I had to end up getting it saged because like my dog was barking at it.
Isn't that weird?
It's crazy.
When you're like,
but then there's the skeptic. I'm like, it probably has something to do with this. Like it's that. But then the back of my head, I'm like, or it's a haunted chessboard.
Like, that's how I feel about mirrors, thrift mirrors. Like, I buy a lot of thrift mirrors. I think they're beautiful.
Me too.
But
I'm not allowed to buy mirrors anymore. I buy mirrors all the time. Like, if I lived alone, my house would just be nothing but mirrors.
You should do a mirror wall. A mirror tile wall.
A mirror mural.
A mirror wall.
A mural.
A mural.
That hurt my brain.
That was a beautiful tongue twister. A mural.
Like, are you okay? Like, I'm not having a stroke, I promise.
No, we're advancing the English language. I learned I sage those because,
mirrors are like the biggest. Like, can't have two people or two mirrors facing each other, which I don't understand what people do.
No, you should not do that, please.
No.
There's a reason. It's not good. Long story short, sage is your best friend, I've learned. Eating and burning.
Anytime a friend moves into a new place, their gift is sage.
That's nice, and that's smart, because, speaking of spoopy, you should really watch, two sentence horror stories on Netflix. You'd really enjoy it. It's a poem, 2-sentence poems, and the first sentence they give to you, and then you see this last sentence at the very end of the episode. And one of them was about the husband died, and he was an abusive husband, so his spirit was still angry. And so the mother was like, this is why you burn sage and everything. You need to like have the spirits leave. And I went, this is real. This is accurate. Like, people need to realize.
Or, see, but the other side of the thing, like, what was it? Steve and I were watching The Dead Files, which I'm like, I'm all for. But I read a lot of supernatural stuff, and again, grew up Catholic. So it's
same.
But so I love the premise. Have you seen Dead Files?
No, but I want to.
The premise, yes, is like you've got this retired New York City homicide detective doing the research during the day, and then you have the medium reading the house, and it's the way it's edited is oh, this lines up with this lines up with that. It's very paint by numbers after that. Each episode's a different house. But what I found bothersome, and Stephen and I with the later episodes, because we watched a couple of seasons where I'm like, this medium, like at the very end, it's we tell you, like, there's the reveal, and sometimes she gets a sketch artist, or sometimes of like the entity that she saw, but then like lately it's been okay, here's what I can see the entity doing. I'm like, all right, girl, like, calm down.
Calm down.
These people are already scared enough. Don't do that. It's like, well, so what can we do so that my family is safe? And it's usually like a stage the house, or like find a medium like that specializes in this. I'm like, okay, that already is a lot.
That's a lot to take in.
But then she casually often mentions you guys need to get like someone to perform an exorcism. I'm like, you're saying that like it's something that people do all the time,
but it's a specialist.
It's a specialist, and as again someone in the like Catholic faith, or former, it's not something that's often approved.
No.
So it's and then episode we watched last night, she mentioned someone that specializes in Reiki. I'm like, girl, you're saying it like I can just go into the yellow pages or like Google that and not get scammed out of my life savings.
I only know one Reiki artist here, and I know one of them in Japan, and it's really interesting, but yeah, you can't find them. It's not easy.
I know. So basically, you've told
the dark web.
Yeah. Oh God. You told these people like, there's like these three entities, and one hates women, and the other is very close to making your husband like murder you, and blah blah blah. And this explains like why your kid has scratches all over his face, and blah 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 blah. And if you don't do all of these things, you're probably going to die. It's this. I don't know, like, I like the show, but at the same time, like, I'm just getting a little jaded about the advice that they're giving these people. But then you also have to remember, like, all right, this is a show called The Dead Files on the Travel Channel. Like, maybe it's on me. But I just see how terrified these people are, especially if they are a skeptic. Sometimes,
like, believing in a sense. Like, I do believe in the paranormal, which I wish I didn't. But I've witnessed some things, and I go, oh, this is uncomfortable. I'm leaving this room. Thanks. Bye. I'd like to live. Thank you. But I've never approached any evil spirits, so thank God. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Oh, that's gotta hurt. But here, speaking of what's on screen, did I tell you I was in 4-H?
No,
that's not spooky. I raised sheep for 8. How old was I? 8 years? 9 years? I raised sheep, and my sister and brother raised pigs. We had a farm. We had attack llamas, which would help.
Where was this?
Estacado, Oregon. It's about an hour away from Portland. Unfortunately, I have not gone there in a long time. Especially because it's really gone downhill. So I don't recommend it for anyone. Please, don't go there. Just go to Portland, Oregon. Sorry, there's a sheep on screen. I went, oh, my fluffy body.
You know what? I'll leave that in. If you're able to guess what we're watching by sheep.
Oh, yes, then good job for you.
You're really good.
But speaking of sheep, what was it? I was watching Sabrina, the new one, and they made him Lucifer into like a minotaur. Is that right?
I honestly, I've only read a couple of volumes of the comic. Stephen and I have a 3-episode rule on a show.
That's smart. I do
and
too.
it did not pass.
No, I feel bad saying it, but
it was shit. Yeah. And That's someone who loves the comic and also like what was it? Archie Afterlife.
Yes.
Love, 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 love. I don't really. Oh God, I feel so shitty because I like love hate watching Mad Men.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get why people dig it.
Yes.
And I love it, but then at the same time, it's like.
I get mad watching it because I go, oh!
Yeah.
And
but,
then it makes sense. Like,
what was it? The girl who played his daughter, that's Sabrina.
Yes!
I just don't really get it. I don't get her style yet. But that's everybody. Everybody's got their thing.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I just felt like it was really stilted. And I've seen her in some other things.
Mm-hmm.
She was really good at Sally. But the only other thing that comes to mind immediately right now is this horrible... I don't know if there's really a good version of Flowers in the Attic, but there was one where she was...
She is in it.
She was... And it was like And then it's I know this is a weird subject matter, but this is some of the worst acting I've seen. But, hey, if you dig it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, to each their own, I guess, but just not
Terri, you don't know. This is, like, I'm not saying,
This
like,
is
the one
gold.
with Kirsty Swanson was like, even the book, like, reading the book, you don't be like, you're never like, I'm glad I read that.
Yeah, you're very much like, this was a... Ooh,
And I own the book. I've got, like, an old, like... very vintage C. Andrews like book club version of it. I like my weird shit, but
that's a one-time read.
That's a one-time yes.
And it definitely affects you.
Really
for a very long time.
Okay.
Like,
but I finally we gave Sabrina a shot. And it was Stephen doing like episode 3 like I want to
like it.
He's like, this fits all the check marks for us. I'm like, it does. It does. And then there are shows where you're like, I shouldn't like this. Like,
Yeah.
God damn it, I love it.
But I love it.
I love it. Like, I really don't want to like Superstore as much as I like Superstore. And I love it. And
But if you work in retail, you love it because you're like, this
yes.
is relatable.
Okay, so yeah, these hurts like so much. It's not
hurts my
relatable.
heart.
But there's just moments where I'm like, okay, I get what they're going for. And sometimes it's that curse of, like, the X-Men curse is what I'll say. I'm like, okay, Jean Grey is always, like, I've only really got Jean Grey stuff as far as X-Men and all that stuff. But there is no rendition of Jean Grey that is believable or watchable because she is horrible off the page.
She really is. Like,
and I think Sabrina kind of falls into that.
Really sad to say. Because in the sense, you have so much hope for that, but it can only go one way down.
Well,
Unfortunately.
I mean, like, when we do, when anime or manga are tried to be put into a live action format, it's okay, you guys might not get why this is amazing. Or like a big thing, My Hero Academia. Steven and I were talking about how, I'm like, I think the reason... like this fits like all the Western animation check marks that I think we would all look for as children. But the reason it is fucking beautiful and just gorgeous, it's gorgeous storytelling, be it manga or the anime, is because it's Eastern.
Yes.
So like if someone was like, hey, let's go ahead and Westernize My Hero, you'd be like, let the dub be enough.
Yeah, let
Please.
it be. Like, I watched one recently, and I think, dare I say, the live action is better than the anime, and it's Tokyo Ghoul. Oh wow. But then again, I'm like a huge, I love gourmet, like I love, like my good friend from high school, I love eating, my good friend from high school and she was like, oh, I don't like the anime. I'm like, oh, watch the live action. It really threads all the pieces that were missing and, like, it gives it really heart. Plus, I think the action speaks well.
What?
It's really good. It kind of shook me because I always expected to be like Dragon Ball.
Evolution.
Yeah.
I watched that with Mike McFarlane. I couldn't have asked a better person to sit through with.
That's perfect. He's like, fuck this.
like, I think, like, anyone that participated in that knew what it was. Like, and it's just like, and especially now, because Dragon Ball wasn't really in my wheelhouse, and I'm now into it now, having written some for the games, and
it's a cool show.
been in it for a little bit, like, Baby Jiren, and a couple of random, I think I'm in the Broly movie. Like, as a Russian scientist, I don't know why she's
nice.
Russian.
Yeah.
I was actually messaged and asked if I could do a Russian accent. I love accents, and I love that people know that I could do them. But my answer for that was every planet has an east. So there you go. Take with that what you will. But you watch that, what was it? Because I think FX, like, randomly had it on when I was at a con. I'm like, why does this exist?
Mm-hmm.
And these are some of them, I'd say all of them are great actors.
Mm-hmm.
But
here
we are.
Here we are. This was made. Budget was.
It's like when it's a bad, you're going to see your friends play, and you know the friends play is complete shit.
Yes, but you have to be supportive.
Yeah, so you give them the flowers at the end, and like, oh my god, like, what did you guys think? I'm like, dude,
it was so different.
The props. Oh my god.
Yep. You
Costumes.
focused on anything.
You
were. I can't. You were fantastic.
Where was your head at in that scene? It's like bananas.
It's all positive, though.
It's all positive. And like, what do you think about the show? I will occasionally, like, do you want my honest opinion? I love what you did, and I can tell that this meant a lot to you. I would never see it again.
That was a one-time show.
It's a story that I will chew on for many years, but not in a positive context.
It's like my daddy and I, we used to go on like drama dates. When we lived close to each other, he would always take me out and go see a play. I'll always remember this play.
Take us back.
God, it is the strangest play.
What is it?
It's called, I think, Once Upon a Star. Something about, I think it has to be around that. It's about this couple who are having troubles, and this other couple move in, neighbors, and you find out the neighbors are aliens, and through hugging, they get them pregnant. Yeah, and so the alien is born through the human woman, and her name is Star. Yeah, it's bad. But I found out that play still affects me to this day, going, God, and I feel bad at the same time, because, sorry, my wonderful drama teacher was the director of that, so I realized, I want to go support it. And then my dad looked at me and he goes, this is what you're doing? And I go... Oh, this is not what I'm doing, Daddy. Like, this
Sometimes
is weird.
Like, look,
this is
right.
an experience.
Or it's like if somebody's like, oh, hey, yeah, I saw one of your titles was on Netflix, so I watched it. I'm like, oh, what was it? And like, it was Rin Daughter Cinemasine. I'm like, no! That's for a very... I mean, I actually love that anime, but, like, if I'm like, that checks all the things of what most people believe all anime is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean. Where it's like, oh, I didn't know you were into that. I'm like...
I'm not.
I mean, if I was, I don't think I would be casually bringing it up, but...
We're not like our characters.
But, yeah, I think I did a play... I did this like very like new wave version of Antigone, where like my directors definitely did like the old school chorus style, where none of the chorus was ever allowed to leave stage.
Oh my gosh!
So like, what really sucked is totally TMI, but I'm like, I'm on my lady time, and this is a 3-hour play.
Yes, isn't that unfortunate when you're like, excuse me.
Like, I'm sorry that my character isn't on her.
Bathroom break, please. I'm in the union, please.
But with the chorus that they did was, we would all jump out of our chorus roles and fill the other character roles. So in that show, I was the messenger at the very, very end that had, whole like 2-page monologues. I was also Aphrodite. Ooh. So yeah, like to go from like Your Majesty, your wife, she's dead, and then to be like, desire, never bested in battle, certainly not deterred by wealth, desire, blah, and then I just like, but they also moved the the audience to where they put stadium seating around in the stage. And so the actors were right next to the crowd. And I'm like, I have this dude with his tongue down my throat as I'm like playing Aphrodite. And I'm like, there's my dad.
Yep, hi, Daddy. Hi, Papa Bear.
We got me daisies. That's nice. Totally make up for him.
Seeing me mag out
with this dude that was also like a foot shorter than me.
Oh, no. It's definitely,
He's like, you did great.
You did well,
really
sweetie.
sorry. You just see my brother like, ugh. But, yeah, it's like, this is what I'm doing.
Yep.
This is what I want to do.
This is me. Like, I'll always remember my mommy, for my 7th birthday, she took me to my first convention. And it was in Canada, and it was so much fun. And it was either, my choice was that or a water park. And I go, I want to go to a convention. I've never been.
What kind of convention was it?
It was an anime convention at the time called Anime Revolution in Victoria, Canada.
In BC?
Vancouver? Yeah, Vancouver.
I love... if it's Victoria, it's the island.
Yeah, it was definitely Vancouver then, because we drove there. But I do love Victoria. Victoria is my favorite.
It's my favorite. If I could live there, I probably would.
Me too. Let's live there.
Okay.
I love tea.
Bye, Stephen.
Bye, Stephen. Well, we're heading on a plane now. But it was that, and I still have the doll I bought. Still, long ago. Did you ever watch Ramen One Half?
No.
No, he's this little piggy. He's a little black piggy, and I still have him. And I'll never get rid of him. But long story short, that convention is where I first found out about voice acting. And now look at me. And it's crazy.
Look at you!
Look at me!
Or you just don't think about that stuff. Or, for me, I went to horror conventions, which...
Ooh, that was cool.
It's fun, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. And that's where you're like... I'm a fan of this. I don't think I care about other fans.
Yes, I care about what I like.
Anime fans are different. Like, that's a community. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure the horror scene has changed since then. That's
I bet.
Being optimistic. And I'm sure, because I haven't been to a convention that isn't for work in a while. Like, ages. But I was it felt like just kind of like I'm in a store kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where everything felt like just too commercial. And so I'm like, maybe I'm not into that. So my first anime convention wasn't until like the first year of me, I think, directing, and I just didn't get why everyone was so friendly. Like, why is this guy talking to me? And it's like, well, because we're all here, because we all love this. And I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. But again, why is that guy talking?
Yeah, like,
maybe he thinks you're pretty, and like, maybe he should back off. Like,
maybe you should know his space.
Me single, just like me married now, where it's like this fucking guy staring at me, and they're like,
"What the fuck's his problem?
He thinks you're pretty." And I'm like, well, he can eat a dick. Like, I'm here for some horror. I'm here for some anime. Like,
I'm not here to look at him.
No, but even if I were somewhere where it's like, hey, this is where people go to, maybe meet someone cute. I'm never at a place to meet someone.
No.
Like, or especially now, because I'm 13 years in a relationship with somebody as of the 26th. It's 13 years.
Yay!
The 26th of
Marriage.
October.
Such cute marriage.
But that's a whole other thing, is like whenever I walk around now, it's like, hey, I was just wondering, like, my friend and I are doing a speed dating thing. I'm like, you're doing speed dating at a con? My God, you are brave.
I know, right?
You're so brave.
I see it and I go, ooh, I cannot do that. It looks so cool. But I definitely should have done it when I was prior voice actor.
Like, I'm like, well, that's another thing, too. What was it? Like, Monica, when she and Ron first met, she was so, like, I can't date fans. I just can't. Mm-hmm. And, like, she, like, had to, like, you're not into anime? He's like, no. He's in anime now. Mm-hmm. It's so funny to be like, did you know there's this show? I'm like, yeah, dude.
I knew that show.
It's kind of a big show. But, like, she was just so terrified of having possibly met a fan. Yeah. I can't imagine being single doing what we do because we're also fans of the genre, too. So it's harder. It
is hard, especially... You know, with, like, my sister, it is hard because my sister and my brother met their significant others through online dating. Mm-hmm. So they say, oh, you should try it. And I've tried it. I met some nice guys. It just didn't work out. But I also go, hey, I'm not like you both. You can Google my name. Mm-hmm. And I'm not okay with that. That happened to me once. I went on this date, and within 5 minutes, he revealed he knew who I was. And he was a huge fan, and I went, I need to go to the bathroom. And then I never came back.
No.
I felt bad. I was like, sorry, I got sick. But in the end, I'm like, no, thanks, bro.
I'm sure there's a way that someone can be familiar with you. That's definitely not the way.
Not the way that they were doing. And I'm all about friendliness. I'm a friendly gal. It's just, certain things you just don't do.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
No. Like, I like hugging, but please ask me first. That'd be great.
Well,
just permission, just common sense.
One might say consent.
Yes! Dare I say? Dare I say consent?
Dare I? Consent! Consent! End of episode.
End of episode.
Or like one might say, like, strokes imaginary beard. Consent.
Consent. Yes.
What a fucking concept.
That's a true concept.
Or like consent. Like, oh, don't be daft. Consent.
Golly gee, bloody hell, we haven't had that in years.
You know what that sounds like with your... That's been a big thing. Like, you have pink hair, I have green hair. Like, oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Like, you're clearly going through something.
Do you know how many? Ooh, that bothers me. And I go, excuse me.
I
just wanted pink coral hair for me because I wanted this when I was in my 20s. And now that I'm older, it is a bad thing. Like, I've gone to a few job interviews where it is an interview and I'm dressed and they'll have me fill out the application. And I go, no, I already filled it out online. They go, no, just fill out one more. We'll be calling interviews next week. And I go,
what?
That's weird because I'm here for the interview right now. And I'm like, is it because of my hair? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to test this. I'm going to wear a wig to my next few interviews and see how that goes.
Sometimes I forget.
Me too.
I forget. It's like, why the fuck?
Yeah, like, what's your problem?
Granted, like, I'm 5'10", full-figured lady with green hair, and often lately, especially, like, I've had a septum piercing for 12 years, but I rarely wear it out.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when I have that out and I've got, like, my big, like, fucking diva glasses on, these aren't it. They're the bigger ones that, like, Edna Mode from, like,
yes!
That kind of big thing, like, oh, God, what are you trying to prove? I'm like, that I really don't like tilting my head when I'm writing. That's the big thing.
I don't want to just like Gendo Akari,
That's
please.
Why, that's why I want them giant. I don't want to do any work.
I want them to be heavy.
But, during this whole... And I think this is the most we've ever touched on it, but, like, with this whole thing with our dear friends going through the shit that they've been going through, was anytime, it's like, hey, just so you know, can you, like, fuck off kind of thing? And it's, someone called me, like, a blue hair, and I'm like, well, I think you might be colorblind because it's green. I know that's not the point, but someone actually said, like, I know the reason that you dye your hair is because you're barren. Ain't that some shit? Well, yeah, I had to go to my gyno and be like, hey, just so you know, I'm going to the hairstylist after this. Please tell me I'm barren, otherwise I can't have green hair.
Oh my God!
Like, fucking...
What audacity? What did he eat for breakfast? Shit!
Well, see, the thing is, it's that whole, like, and Jamie McGonigal, another fantastic voice actor, who's been in a plethora of shit.
Oh, yes.
With all these different studios, but he is a very proud, like, he's an amazing just activist and outspoken man. Father, married, and photos of him and his husband and their son is so fucking cute. But found that on Twitter specifically, you can't report something that isn't specifically geared toward you.
What?
So someone can say, you know, like the worst shit in the world.
worst
And like,
thing.
yeah, but it's not directed at you. Like, okay, it's the F word, it's the N word, it's this. And like, yeah, but they're not calling you that. So
But if you can find them saying, but it's at me, like you can see the at this my screen name, so they know I can see it.
But if
and
it's
to me,
if it's that horrible derogatory term for a gay person, I'm going to report it regardless of whether or not.
Same.
Like, yeah, you can't, or they won't flag it because it's not you being, according to Twitter, directly affected.
Wow.
So yeah, like we got off on this whole thing, and my friend Amelie and I were talking about that. She's like, I just block. I'm like, see, but the thing is, I found lately, blocking isn't enough. For some reason, blocking it's that instead of the debate me, you coward, it's no,
them.
you will not ignore me.
Yeah, and then they go to every platform they can get you on,
And your friends.
And
it's just not something that I've found that most of my male counterparts don't have, especially
They don't do it.
if you're remotely, like, throughout this whole thing, I found that they've really gone after these horrible people with clear issues, have really gone after women of color more than anybody else. It's, oh, hey, so this is very clear what this is. And like, yes, but if you say it, it's oh, of course, this SJW, blah, 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 blah. But, sorry, guys.
No.
We're getting a little huffy here, but it's just
we gotta huff
naturally...
and puff. We gotta blow this wall down.
Yum, yum, yum.
Y'all
But,
need to-
it's an entitlement. It's, even though we don't personally know each other, this person that didn't like something I said, or the way that I look, or just the sound in my voice, or whatever it is, it's for some reason, because they are more than likely, more often than not, a straight white man.
Yep.
No matter what, their opinion should trump mine. No matter what. But at the same time, you know, eat a dick.
Yeah, yes.
Or like, don't even like just eat a dick. Eat like a calcified phallus. I in no way want you to enjoy
What
the
you're
process
eating. Yeah.
of ingesting
A dick.
a fossilized phallus.
That sounds great. That sounds like accurate. That sounds accurate for what they should do, because they should chew on their words, pun intended, because I'm sorry, like, why are you thrusting your opinion into my life? I didn't ask for it. Also, how is my life affecting you?
It's not, but I want to affect yours.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
So and then it ruins your whole day, and you're focused on it.
You don't want it to, and it feels stupid when it does. Like, okay, or even just what we do. Like, a company hired this other company to do an English version of that and I think dubs have gotten a lot better at being accepted.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was actually a friend of mine that's like, hey, my kids can't fully read yet, but they can follow along to the English. That's, I mean, it's partially what it's there for. Also, you know,
If you
most
don't
of
like
the time,
subs.
animation is meant to be enjoyed. So sometimes, and that's someone who watches both, and you watch
Same.
both too.
Oh, yes.
Or sometimes not even with subs. I
No.
mean, for frickin' sake.
I yellow it.
But it's just like hey, I really hate that this character's in English. I mean, like,
Wow. Grow
okay,
up.
you know, I got paid $50 an hour. I
Switch the language. It's
Switch-
not that hard.
There
Press
was
options, language, type it twice, go to Japanese.
There was a point where I was directing something, and a friend was directing another show, and it was his first show, and he was just freaking out, and I'm like, hey,
Calm down.
like shaking him, like, bitch, calm down. Men can be bitches, and girls can be assholes. The more you know. But
Rainbow.
I did a big, like, woo wave with my hand there, but I like shook him. I'm like, bitch, calm down. Do you want to feel really good about yourself? And he's like, more than anything, right now, I'm in casting hell, and all the lines are coming up short, blah, blah, blah. What? And I'm like, what we do here is an audio option.
Yes.
And
Thank
he's
you
like,
for saying that.
that doesn't make me feel better at all.
Isn't that sad? Because really, it makes me feel better. I'm like, hey guys, it's cartoons. We're gonna have fun. Have fun.
Even you just saying cartoons probably pissed like somebody else.
Oh, it really did. I felt bad saying that because I'm like, don't worry, it's just cartoons in the end. And ooh, that was the wrong thing to say apparently that day. But honestly, it is. And in the end of the day, as Jerry Jules loves to say, and I'll say it, the kids will love it. The kids will love it. And, you know, to each their own.
If you hated it, or like the Sabrina thing, it's, I didn't like it, but
you gave it a chance.
My best friend loved it. And am I supposed to shit all over her loving it just because I didn't?
It's
no.
like, my sister and I, we have disagreeing movies, like, or shows. I love, you know, Japanese stuff, and she's like, no, I'm not into that, don't like that. She was okay with this movie, but you know, if you don't like it, don't shit on it. Like, everyone's different.
Well, see, that was a whole other thing about full circle. Like, there are numerous reasons that I decided to take out, like, the identifying factors for the movies. The movies is just dictating, hey, this is something you love.
Yeah.
And also the runtime. But aside from that, it's taking it out because, like, my first episode, was, and if I'd started with hey, this movie's really important to me,
they wouldn't.
Fan or not, if you would just Googled it and be like, this movie looks stupid as shit. Why do you like this? What's wrong with you that this is one of your favorite movies? So that minimizes that. And what instead, I'm like, here is what it means to me when I watch this. Here is where, like, it takes me just in my brain and my heart, but also heart. But yeah, or like, and I brought it up before, but there are shows that I'm in where I'm like, oh, God, I want to switch to the J.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, to each their own. Like, I called someone out on Twitter. Someone said dubs have not improved in the last 20 years, and they posted
And they're
clip,
20.
And they're 20. And they posted a clip of Cowboy Bebop. And I said, of course, this is a great dub. It's a cinematic dub where...
That is a staple.
A staple.
A very big staple.
A very big staple. It's a very... It definitely paved its own way. It's unique. So I go, yes, it's a great dub. And I said, but as to quote Faye... You're living in the past. You need to grow up. And in the sense of dubs and animation and Disney and ADR have increased so far to the point where it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, if you think that is the cusp of good, you should really branch out and understand that there's so much more out there. Regardless if it's, you know, Western or...
Why limit yourself?
Eastern or anything like that. You know, there's Wafku, which is a French animation, and that is outstanding. Ooh. It is wonderful.
Excuse me, totally here. Like me and my clothes. Just lovely. But yeah, no. Ooh, I love you so much.
No, I love you.
No, it's faux making out with her. Not really. I don't make that many sounds when I make out with someone.
It's okay.
It's so funny when it's like you read an ADR script or something like M&S kissing. I'm like, well, I hope M&S kissing or CM. Like, I don't want open mouth kissing. There was actually randomly, like, total tangent. But, like, again, talking about Rendatas and Amatsune. I fucking love that show for a variety of reasons. But if someone's like, hey, what's this about? I'm like, for me, the way that I describe it is not the way a friend of mine, they're like, oh, there are these, like, angels that just go around fucking women. I'm like, that's not what the show is about. The show is about an immortal detective that we see through various years, which I'm like, that's what you need to do when the show is about an immortal person. I want to see them doing immortal shit. And that's what I think. Like, I was watching Angel. I'm like, you know what? For a vampire, he sure is aging and gaining weight.
Yeah, sure is gaining weight pretty quick.
But the first episode is 1990. The second episode is 91. And then the third episode jumps 20 freaking years.
Oh, that's
I'm like,
cool.
That's what I want.
That's what I want, too.
But immortal men are typically angels, and they only live for about 2 weeks. But immortal women can't, like, Rin is, like, at least 200 years old.
Oh, she sounds cool.
Yeah, and it's the Yggdrasil, the tree of life. Like, just randomly women, people suddenly become immortal. And then there's a specific angel in the dub. It's Todd Habercorn, and he's the reason he's able to live is because he's actually like most angels in most stories are hermaphrodite. So he's able to kind of circumvent the very short lifespan male angels in that respect that aren't just randomly turned into it. But I'm an immortal as well as the assistant ADR director on that. I got that role because Tatum happened to be doing Spice and Wolf season 2 at the time. Nice. And he's like, someone help me not go insane. And so I ended up getting into just the show that way. But he also gave me a role before that where he's like, yeah, I got to put Terri in the show. And I still wasn't comfortable behind the mic. But I have a lot of reactions in that show. I do not have a lot of dialogue. And so it's a very awkward scene. But because these people are immortal, they don't get paid. They don't want to get paid in currency. They want to get paid in, favors and all this stuff. They want to get paid sexually most of the time because
they need it.
Show got a show. And you're like, all right. But the first one, it was actually really traumatic because I'm like, I know that Jamie's character is immortal. She's not 14, but she's got the body of a 14-year-old. Oh. So it's like
awkward.
But it's okay because 20 years down the line, they're actually lovers. And that was actually how Jamie and I kind of became friends. She's like, hey, lover. I'm like, lover, what's going on? But there's a point where my character is going downtown, Julie Brown, on Jamie's character. And so we're previewing it in Japanese. And Tatum got the show for a variety. He's a fantastic actor, but also that he is one of the male directors that a lot more female actresses, because they're the ones that had to do all that very uncomfortable stuff. We had to have a sign on the door, which for some reason made people want to open the door more.
Isn't that funny?
I slammed the door in its face. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I want to show someone.
Yeah, isn't it funny when like, oh, can we come in for a tour? And you're like, no. There's literally tatas on the screen.
It was for character who like had to was like playing like 8 versions of herself, and they were all fucking. I'm like, no. Oh, when do you think we can come in?
Not
I'm like,
today.
Not at all in this show. Go next door.
Go next door, please.
But, so we're previewing it, and Tatum did his whole, sweetie, I am so sorry. I did not ask you. Are you okay with this? And I'm like,
I guess I am now.
Or no, I was like, no, he warned me. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's just... Would the reactions be closed-mouthed, or... And he,
muffled?
and then there was just a swinging empty chair, and the engineer's like, yeah, he left.
He really left. All right, he left for the day.
The engineer's like, do you just want to go without him? I'm like, I guess
so. It's just reactions, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll have fun.
And then the next time we had a sex scene, Jamie left me a bomb.
Yes.
Where her character wasn't into it at all. Little to the left. I'm fine.
She's really funny. I've only recently got to know her through working with Double Decker and Cautious Hero, but she's a real treat. She is hilarious and on point comedy acting. I want to be that funny. How do I be that funny in my life?
Even me, it's you're funny. Well, for me, as a fellow funny lady, you're funny too.
Thank
you're
you.
Really funny. You made Stephen laugh, so you know you're funny.
Yes!
But it's when you know that someone else is funny, I'm like, are we allowed to hang out in the same room?
I know. Do you think how many cheeks do you think we could break laughing? A lot? Yeah, let's do it.
Or maybe we're both funny and we hate each other because we're both funny.
Oh my God.
But that's also a 20-year-old mentality that I think it definitely goes away. I don't even think about that now. Where I forget the name of the actress. And someone said I kind of sound like you. I'm like, cool. They're like, that's not to say. And I'm like, no, it's cool.
That's
I think
cool.
if this was 10 years ago, I'd be like, fuck you.
It's my job. But
I can sound like me. Mm-hmm. But then in reality, sometimes it's hey, you're not available. Who do you think might be able to sound like you? This person, this person, this person. Mm-hmm. But 10 years ago, I'd be like, why?
I had that problem in Japan. I was in a broadcast dub called Demon Lord Retry. I forgot. And, sorry, Jeremy. But I planned my trip to Japan, and I thought I planned it right when the series ended, but oops, I had to record 2 episodes before leaving, and one of them, they had voice match. And so Jeremy goes, who the F can sound like you? No one can sound like you.
Without them doing, I guess, I'm like, is this
an impression?
Is this like a credit to you?
I guess.
Or is this like a burn?
I think I think I'm complimented by it, because even my friends in California, they have messaged me saying, yeah, you were a voice match today and I couldn't voice match you. And I go, but I can voice match you. And they go,
because you have a very unique voice. Mm-hmm. And I think it's kind of that same thing where it's there is one actress, I will not say her name.
And it's not fake. This is not a fake voice, people.
But that's the thing, is we used to make this like comment. I'm like, I know that this is not about you. Like, I know this isn't this girl's voice, and the fact is she can sound like that on mic. I just want to hear her actual voice. I don't know why we're at dinner and she's doing a voice. Mm-hmm. It's like when someone's like, oh yeah, no, I've always wanted to get into acting. Someone said that I'm really good at accents, like that one, because I'm from the Bronx. And you're like, I don't care that you can do that, baby. Like,
no, why are you trying to impress me? I'm trying to have dinner with you.
I'm trying to hang. Please don't ruin it by being weird.
And being like, I want work.
Like, not fun weird either.
We're having this type of conversation. This is how this is going to go. All right.
But, there was that ongoing joke where it's anyways, like, if someone just suddenly, like, hit her with, like, a volleyball and, like, who the fuck threw that? Like, that's your real voice!
There we go. There it is.
Mm-hmm. Whereas, is yours, it wasn't that I ever thought it was put on, but it's just like I don't know anyone.
It's weird. Yeah, that's what I've gotten, and I'm not offended, but I am offended when I'm asked these questions. Do you have laryngitis?
Oh.
Are you sick?
Ew.
How much did you drink last night?
I wish I sounded like that after a night of drinking.
I know, right? And how much do you smoke? And I go, what? Let you know, ladies and gentlemen, my voice sounds like this because I was premature and on life support for 3 months straight. So literally my voice is to die for. You must get close to death for this type of voice. Please don't do it. Please don't do anything like that.
No, I'm doing it.
I was a baby. So, long story short, this is why. And it's weird because in classes people think I'll fake it, and I keep talking and they go, oh no, this is real.
Yeah.
This is your real tone.
Most of the time, sometimes when I hear interesting voices, I think it's put on, even if, like, we don't know each other or whatever. Like, there was, like, I was at this coffee shop, and I'm like, yeah, hey, can I get, just a taro bubble tea? I'm like, yeah, 1 taro bubble tea.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my God. And doing this, like, I'm so excited by your voice. And you're like, do you want a biscotti with that? And I'm like, oh my God, that's actually how you sound. Oh my God.
It's really good if you meet people like that and steal their voices.
That's exactly what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just like, she's taro bubble tea. That's how you get into that voice. Like, I messed up to the point where, cause it doesn't come out unless I'm really, tired or just whatever it is, but I have a very big tongue. You're welcome. And I don't know who I'm saying you're welcome to. Exes that probably don't talk to me anymore. And stuff. This is weird. But I have a slight lisp. And then it's that whole like, hey, just so you know, I can kind of hear that. I'm like, Most of the time, it's not an issue, but sometimes it's it's a little slurred, and you're like, okay, cool, I'll get that really quick. But then I think whenever you start doing this, it's I have to talk, and it's that theater
a certain way.
It's that theater thing. It's like diction is done with the tip of the tongue and the front of the teeth.
Yep.
And like, yeah, but it's the same thing whenever we were doing one of the Halloween episodes for that anime show, and people got to submit their own stories. And Caitlin was reading one. She's like, this isn't grammatically correct. And I went, it's the way people talk. She went, right, yes. And I'm like,
yes.
Yeah. Where it's this might not be grammatically accurate, or like, hey, we've said this word 3 times. Like, that's how people talk. I say like, I even do the I say dude a lot,
Bro.
and or that if I'm really trying to get your attention and I haven't gotten it in a bit, it's to say yo, dude. But we just all have our little go-to little things like filler, who, he, and but we all have a way of speaking. So sometimes when you and Aaron talk up, like no one can sound like Aaron.
No one can.
No,
it's such a good voice. Aaron Dismuke, if you don't know who he is, you should really treat yourself. Fantastic actor. Fantastic voice.
he needs
so good.
He needs to be able to play more because I've had him. There was an audition that he did. He's like, man, I did this like low, gruff character for this audition and I loved it. I didn't get the part. And
I bet it sounded great.
I had him do it for me because I did his character demo and I'm like, yeah.
That's on point, bro.
But then Aaron's this tall, scrawny dude. I'm like, unfortunately, you also look like all the characters you've voiced since
the break of dawn. Look like every little male shonen.
Well, see, because I didn't meet Aaron till he started his adult voice came in. So someone, it was during like that FMA Brotherhood thing that even's like, it sucks that it's not going to be Aaron. And, and Aaron's like, well, yeah,
it can't be me.
But
he's like, yeah, I don't sound like that anymore.
No.
So, and that's not bad. Like, it's good to know if you have matured where your new voice can take you.
Yeah.
And what roles you should not pursue. It's not a bad thing.
No.
It's a good growing experience, and especially if you get to branch out, that's exciting. And like one of my friends, Marissa Lenti, she started booking the like older sister character, like the Ada, and because she used to be known for her low voice, and then I'm like, no, branch out, like show people what you can do, because otherwise they won't know.
No, like what was it? I found that I want you to make my life easy.
Yeah.
Because I forget who it was. It was a teacher of mine. Like, you as an actor, you're supposed to be the answer for the director, for the casting person.
You're supposed to be the puzzle piece.
Give them what they want, even if it might not be something like or I wouldn't be doing, or it might have taken me longer, because I remember Kaysen was doing some show, I believe it was Bamboo Blade, and he's like, do you have a boy voice? I'm like, oh no. Which is so funny 11 years later, because I think the joke has been like hey, it's Terri, the younger version of everyone ever.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you're literally the younger version of anyone, or it's either you, Michaela Cranston. Yeah. Maybe, Afia, you, and...
Well, we often play off of each other.
Yeah, and
we also sound related somehow.
Laura Woodall, and that's it. That's the only ones I know that are little babies.
Little baby boys.
Bebes.
I tend to play like boys with an attitude, like unless it's Chutaro, who's just pure sunshine, and
little baby.
But I was making fun of another actor, who's Sean Teague, who is awesome and adorable, like. That was what I interned on, was Big Wind Up, and so he is Mihashi. Oh. He is that very. I'm so sorry. But he did he at one point I'm like, dude, stop apologizing for everything. He's very like sweet and adorable. And he just happens to be like older than me, but I always feel like, protect him. And I'm like, you need to be more assertive in your stuff. So he decided that the moment to do that was when he was like running 30 minutes late for something.
Oh my god!
And so he like kicked open the door and like, guess who's here, baby? And like, someone is 30 minutes late.
You should be proud of this.
Down.
Get in the booth, you
But so of course he immediately reverted. Sorry,
I'm so sorry.
So I was telling like Ian Sinclair the joke later, or that story later. He's like, you realize that's a boy voice, right? I'm like, and I ended up being like a fangless vampire and like dancing the vampire buns.
Oh, nice.
So I played like a vampire maid. I play a lot of maids, and I'm totally fine with that.
It's okay. I play a lot of older sisters with large assets.
Breasts.
Large breasties.
You just sound very
That's what my friend said. He said, your voice sounds like it just has large breasts. And when he closes his eyes, and I go, I can't believe you just said that. And he went, oh, sorry.
Maddie Morris and I were talking about that yesterday. Like, did you find that when you chopped off your hair? She's like, yeah, I started getting short hair characters. I'm like, maybe I should stop telling people how old I am, because I'm getting a lot more memes.
Yes,
more memes.
You should do what one of my good friends does. She will never release her age to the internet.
You're actually, like, it's that thing as an actor. You're not supposed to.
Not supposed to. My age is wrong on the internet.
But I want people to know.
Yeah, I'm proud in the sense like, hey, hashtag this is right. Oh, babies. But long story short, no, I'm excited to see what's happening, and I love not being late to sessions. And if I am always like a train of apologies.
I'm always like 45 minutes early complaining about how, like, I'm late.
Mm-hmm. I'm always in the parking lot just waiting and warming up with tongue twisters and...
Do tongue twisters and a lot of musical numbers.
Me too. I do the whole soundtrack of Hunchback of Notre Dame.
See, my go-to is Repo the Genetic Opera.
Ooh, that's spoopy.
It's spoopy. It's not a great... Okay, it's not a good movie. It's problematic. I know this, but I'm obsessed with Anthony Stewart Head, who's Giles in Buffy.
Yes.
His vocal range is, like, stupid good.
Oh, stupid good. It's the only reason I watched that movie, and that movie has still scarred me, and I watched it 6 years ago. And it's the Paris Hilton scene that really freaks me out.
Yeah, in it, it's Skinny Puppy.
It's great.
Yeah.
And I love Alexis Bledel, so like I'm never complaining.
What was it? And Sarah Brightman?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Long story short,
Paul Sorvino's. Yeah, like so. It's like this is, and then. I mean, lover, hater, Paris Hilton. That was Paris Hilton.
That was her finest role.
She was perfect.
That was her finest role.
But yeah, no, there are all these different ranges, so that's my go-to. Or Dr. Horrible sing-along.
Oh, nice. I usually do Hunchback and then a lot of Japanese, and I go, wait, this is the wrong ton to warm up. You're supposed to warm up in English.
Or hip-hop.
Oh, nice.
I like doing that a lot. Childish Gambino or Eminem. Even though I don't really like Eminem, his tongue twisters are...
Such good tongue twisters. I went to this trivia night with Caitlin and her husband once, and one of the questions was, this guy won a, you hungry? They said, this guy won an award for fastest raps, and I was like, oh, Caitlin, it's Eminem. And she goes, I don't know about that, and it totally was. And I went, I was right about something for once. But he's good, and Logic is good. I gotten into him.
That was
good too.
Oh, yes. Logic. Well, of course, my favorite, like, there's every couple of months or weeks, I've got to do the Keanu Reeves. I'm the one.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves, get it done. Yeah,
Speaking of Keanu, I am on a huge kick. If you ever want to binge, I just started watching the John Wick series.
I'm fucking obsessed.
I never knew I could be... Sorry, Keanu, I respect you and I love you, but if I ever meet you, You're great. You're so great and talented, and I just want to hug you and pretend like you're so good.
There was a fan on Twitter that said, I want someone to love me as much as Terri loves Keanu.
Yes!
Stephen actually woke me up, and he went, did you need something? I went, what?
What?
And he went, you said something, and I went back to sleep. And we were having breakfast the next morning, and he went, I know what you said now. In my sleep, out of nowhere, I said, Keanu can still get it.
And it's still true to this day. He still can.
He just turned 55. I was scrolling through my Keanu shit. And this woman could see my phone with her husband. She's like at least 20 years older than me. I'm scrolling through it, and I went, Keanu can still get it. She went, yeah, he can. I looked at her, and her husband's like rolling his eyes like she just needed an excuse. But yes, what a wonderful note to start wrapping up on.
Yes.
But
please
John
treat
Wick
yourself. Yes.
is my thing.
Oh, I just need to rent the second movie. So yeah. I'm ready.
Part 3, it was one of the first times, like, in a while. I actually looked at the dude sitting to the left of me. I didn't know him, but I did, like, the, damn! God damn, son!
Oh, yeah. I watched it on the plane back from Japan, and I went, oh, no, I'm an addict. And the
soundtracks alone.
Outstanding! And I love it. It said, please be warned, this is a very gruesome film. Please ask your neighbors if to not look at your screen.
Oh my god!
And I went,
I hadn't thought about that.
Oh my gosh. And so luckily everyone's asleep on Japan. I'm like, I'm wide awake. Let me watch
do
some
this.
gore and Keanu kicking butt.
It's so funny. The thing I can't watch is the dog.
No, I can't either.
yeah.
That makes me so mad. And it's the actor from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I just go,
It's Alfie.
it's
something.
Alfie, yeah. And I just go, why did they have to show it or volley it? Why did they have to I love animals, and once that happens, ugh.
There's a
I definitely fast forward through that scene. I feel bad.
well, there's a point in. Have you seen 3 yet?
No.
Okay, yeah, there is a point where it directly references part 1 and that
Oh,
where
good.
it's something almost happens to a dog and Keanu's like, I get it.
Now it makes sense on these Twitter posts going Keanu with umbrellas saying must protect these pups. And I go, oh, now this meme makes sense. But no,
You brought up Keanu too late.
I know, sorry, because now we don't have time to talk about him. But this is what the future's for all our
Yes.
future dates.
Thank you so much for locking yourself in a booth with me and eating cake.
Oh, anytime. I'll lock myself anywhere with you. Anytime, any day, anywhere, any country.
Never gonna give you up.
Never
Never
gonna
let you-
let you down. But I
Never
will
gonna turn around.
No, we can't monetize.
No. So as we wrap up, is there anything please? Oh my gosh, it's Natalie
Yes.
Hoover on Twitter.
Yes,
please.
Natalie Hoover VO on Twitter. I am officially Facebook deleted, so I do not have
Same.
a Facebook anymore. High five.
Ha!
I don't need it. My website, nataliehoover.com. My emails, I changed it to Lavia.
You people,
Lavia
you want
and
people
Rose
to email.
VO. Yeah, if you have any questions about how much I love Japan, I
Why
travel a
do
lot.
I hate you now for talking with Terri Doty?
If you send me that, I'm not going to listen to it, because I love Terri Doty, and I love myself. That's really it so far. Nothing new's happening. Same old. I still work at Funny. I work in Los Angeles, trying to get an agent, all that jazz. So we'll see where it goes. Yeah, I'm just excited to start next year. Already, we're getting there.
It's coming up. Hopefully, I am cautiously cautiously optimistic. That's my way of being. So, with that being said, thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you so much. for
Listen
having
next
me.
time when my guest will be someone else.
I thought you were going to reveal. I love you, Terri. No, this was a real treat. Thank you for having me. I already missed you, so.
I already missed you.
I already missed you.
Now go away.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Hasta pasta.
Sayonara.
じゃあまたね。気をつけて。
Last word.
Bye-bye.